Venom is now in theaters and is the latest Marvel-Sony collaboration. I believe the last one was Amazing Spider-Man 2, which it never existed. But anyways, Venom is now on the screen. This last time we saw him was Spider-Man 3. Another film we won't talk about. Jeez, Sony, what are you doing? But anyways, in all seriousness, Venom stars Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is a good actor. I really like Tom Hardy. Ruben Fleischer directed this film. He directed Zombieland, which is a great film. So this film has potential. Going into the film, I was like, it does have potential. But the trailers did not interest me, really. I'll be honest. More into that later on in my review. But for now, what I will say is that this film is about Tom Hardy's character, Eddie Brock, becoming Venom. Simple as that. That's all I'm going to tell you. And without further ado, the positives. Tom Hardy, great actor, as I mentioned already. But he is so much fun to watch in this film. Every time he's on screen, you can just tell that he lights up the room wherever he goes with his humor. And sometimes you're not sure whether you're supposed to be laughing at the movie or with the movie. But I didn't really care because it was still funny, you know? And it was just infectious just watching, like, Eddie Brock and Venom talking to each other. Like, Tom Hardy talking to Tom Hardy because he plays with Venom and Eddie Brock. So that was a lot of fun to watch. I also thought the sound mixing in the film was enjoyable. It's by no means good sound mixing because it is very bombastic. And not in an artsy way like Interstellar. It's just bombastic. That's all there is to it. I also like the car chase, which more of the level of this is the first time that we actually get to see Venom than the actual like choreography of the action scene, because that is a bit shaky. I also liked the cast. I don't think they were utilized as well as they should have been, but I like the cast. I like Michelle Williams. I like Riz Ahmed. I know I'm butchering his last name, but that's about it with positives. This is a film that I will say I did enjoy, but it's a big but. It is such a flawed movie. Like, holy cow, the level of flaws in this film, it's bad. I mean, I can see this being one of my reviews that if I rewatch, I'm like, why did you give it the rating that you're going to give it? Because I'll say this, the film, its story is a setup for yet another film. It's not, it takes from Batman Begins, but it forgets the whole fact that Batman Begins was a standalone origin story. It actually stood on its own, and at the very last scene, kind of was a setup. But this film, Venom, is a setup in its own. Like, the entire movie is a setup for another movie, and it's like, why? Why can't you do that? Like, are you serious? And I get it, it's a studio thing. Every studio has been doing it lately, but it's like, why? Why? And also, the villain, I like Riz. I really do. He was great in Nightcrawler. I loved him in Nightcrawler. But his villain was so weak, one-dimensional, and just kind of like pointless, honestly. Michelle Williams is also underutilized. The visual effects, honestly, this is yet another one of those films that it has the too perfect-looking cinematography look. And by that, I mean it's a film that you can tell has just been messed with so much. And an example would be Sports Illustrated magazines. You know, you can look at a Sports Illustrated magazine and you can tell that it has been edited to death, that it looks too perfect to actually be real because people don't actually look like that, you know? And Venom, it just kind of falls into that too perfect look. You know, it's been messed with so much, you can tell. And it's not like David Fincher's films where, yes, in post-production, he does edit around with the cinematography, but it looks incredible. And you can't tell that unless he actually said it, in which case, yeah, you can tell. But with Venom, you can tell right off the bat that this was messed with a lot. The VFX and CGI really was not good. VFX, for those of you who don't know, it's when they put shots of, you know, that isn't real, digital, like, you know, CGI into a scene, and the way that works with the real people that are in it and also the sets that are in it. It doesn't work. It really doesn't. It's a shame. You know, the Venom in itself it's a flaw and it's a positive because the look of him, it just isn't great. It's okay at best. But at the same time, when Venom is on screen, it is funny seeing him with Tom Hardy. Also, I have to say that the film, it's marketed all wrong, I think. And I think that they really butchered this film with being PG-13 instead of R because, let's face it, it would have been better R. Just because, I feel as though this studio just really didn't have the balls to actually take risks and get an R rating, even though it's like we have Logan, we have Deadpool 2, we had Watchmen. It's like, it's a different age now, It's like you can do whatever you want and people will see it if it's a superhero movie. So do whatever, so it's just a shame, really. I mean, also, last but not least, again, there's a lot. That's why I'm surprised I enjoyed this film because there's so much I didn't like. I'll explain the premise. There's a film out there that came out, I believe it was March of this year, starring Logan Marshall Green, who is identical looking to Tom Hardy. I swear, it's like his doppelganger. He looks just like him. And he stars as a man who gets this chip in him where he basically is able to do whatever and he has to also talk to it. And I'm like, Upgrade is a better version of Venom. That's what the movie's called, Upgrade. And it's a very, very good film, but so little people have seen it. And honestly, I'm going to say this. Venom, because obviously you're here for that review. If you want to check out my Upgrade review, it's out there. But Venom, it's not a good film. It's not. But I enjoyed it. I will have to say. I did enjoy some of it. But again, there's a better film version of this out there. It's not even called Venom. It's called Upgrade. Check it out. But at the end of the day, Venom, you'll be getting a 3 out of 5 star rating from me, which... Red Hot Franks. I know. I'm saying very somber. Because again, I'm saying it right now. I can see myself months from now being like, why did you give this a 3 out of 5 star rating? Why didn't you give it lower? But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Infinity War and Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I gave those movies the same rating, and screw it. I'm giving Venom a 3 out of 5. It's garbage, but it's enjoyable garbage. It's call it what you will. But guys, Venom, what did you think of it? Was it a good film to you? Was it a bad film? Am I losing my mind for actually enjoying some of it, even though it was such a tonal mess and just was all over the place and just was not well made? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and